Alright, no beating around the bush. The winner of the Nintendo Switch Zelda OLED Edition. Your name is on the screen right now. This comment stood out to me and I was like, alright, let's give it to them. So if you ping us an email, we'll sort you out with that. Sorry, I don't have like 3,000 of them to the amount of people that wanted to win one. We've given away, I think, 6 OLEDs on the channel so far. So we're going to keep doing that. And obviously with the Switch 2 as well, we'll do more of them. But really the star of the show is the person that's donated 3 of them already to the channel just because they like SwitchUp. They like the community, and yeah, we've got all the time in the world. Thanks so much for that. I hope you've had a very happy Easter so far. This is by far one of the best sales I've ever seen on the eShop, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you can save yourself 5% by buying your eShop credit over at switchup.gg, where you get that in cashback. Alright, what are the best games on sale this week? Welp, let's find out. First up, we've got the outstanding bow path of the Teal Lotus, which was published by Humble Games and developed by Squid Shock Studios. It's down 30%, that's the cheapest it's ever been, and it's a 2.5D action platformer that's inspired by Japanese folklore. I've got a full review of this on the channel, but it feels very much like it took inspiration from the best aspects of Hollow Knight. It is a Metroidvania, of course, with that in mind, but you're fighting against brutal yokai bosses. You take on the role of Bo, who is a fox spirit, and it has a really nice sense of movement and fluidity. Now, at launch on Switch, there are a few issues, I gotta be honest. There have been a couple of patches, and it performs much better than it did. It's, I'd say, pretty much fine now, and the way the world interconnects, everyone that I've seen play this has kind of come back in the comments and gone, I'm loving it. I don't know if is it Jess, or it's either Jess or Siobhan, one of those two have played this. If you're new to the channel, you won't know who I'm talking about. If not, if you've been around for 5 minutes, they're always in the comments. Real big supporters, and they have cracking taste in games. So yeah, go down to the comments, I'm sure they'll let you know why it's so good, but for that price, cheapest ever, and there's a physical as well if you're interested in that. Well worth picking up. Bow Path of the Teal Lotus. This one is single player only. It's got a download of 3.9 gigs, and that sale goes on until April the 27th. Bryond Galazyland channeled some serious Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy vibes. It's published and developed by a guy called Sam Enright, and it's down to its cheapest 40% off. Those Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy vibes apply not only to the overall setup of the game, but it's also the comedy. It has a real dark, dry comedy to it, where you play as a high schooler called Doug, who's accompanied on his mission by a sentient guinea pig in a quest that will take you across several different planets. And I just love how nonchalant he is when he comes to terms with what is quite a horrific thing that happens early on in the game. Really enjoyed this one. I actually thought it was amazing. Performance isn't amazing. There are a couple of planets where it's just not great. It doesn't just have that side perspective adventure. It has elements of Pokemon, and you can capture some of the monsters in the world and then use them in combat. And it also has real-time physics-based puzzles. So a few different elements, not what you would expect at all, I think, from Bryond Galazyland, as it's 40% cheapest ever sale until April the 27th. Stalker Legends of the Zone, the trilogy, is available on sale. I will say straight away, you can also buy them individually on sale if you're interested. They are published and developed by GSC Game World, and they're first person, I'd say, action RPGs. They're not just first person shooters, and in fact I don't think I like my definition of an action RPG at all. They're more like first person adventure shooters, because you're not really stats based. It's your weapons and gear that determines your strength, as well as your own skill. It's a collection of 3 first-person, well, I'm actually going to say survival shooters. That makes more sense to me. Set around Chernobyl and the exclusion zone, where you are navigating an open world environment, battling against weird mutant pig creatures as well as other survivors. And you have this set mission to search out and eliminate one person, but you discover very quickly that the world is not as it seems at all. There are these unusual anomalies, and it's like you have the Geiger counter. The closer you get to them, they like explode and stuff. And it's quite a scary game. There's a day-night cycle. You can find yourself caught out miles away from base. The sun goes down and it's terrifying. This features gyro controls, but weirdly, GSC, and I spoke to them about it, they bound the gyro. So if you're using 2 Switch joycon, they decided to bind the gyro to the left, like the left joycon, which anyone who's used gyro for first-person shooters, in my opinion at least, it should be the right Joy-Con, right? Like you aim with the right and then you move with the left. But they said, no, you're wrong, basically. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure it feels a bit odd. And they haven't changed that, which is a bit annoying, to be honest. But it is what it is. If you're using a Pro controller, it feels absolutely fine because obviously it's in one unit rather than separate. Stalker, The Legends of the Zone Trilogy though, 30% off, the cheapest it's ever been until April the 27th. No multiplayer mode here, single player experience only, and a download of 19 gigs. Crow Country reminded us a bit of RESI Resident Evil. It was published and developed by SFB Games, I want to say. That name doesn't sound right, but I think that's who it was. It's 30% off, it's cheapest. Glen has a full review of this one on the channel, as we do most of the games, to be honest, that we talk about. I think everything we've spoken about so far. But it's all set in and around like an abandoned theme park. You've got different puzzles to solve, creepy environments, and it's the creatures. They're just so macabre. It has an aesthetic that I don't think everyone will like. It's like a blend of retro PlayStation with more modern control methods, so it doesn't have the complete tank controls, although I think you can use those if you want, and just a quality narrative. Now, Crow Country is just 1.2 gigs to download, as I say, the cheapest it's ever been if you're thinking about picking that one up. Core Keeper was such a pleasant surprise. When we get this late in the Switch's life cycle, every time a game comes out that's really quite good, it stands out. Core Keeper was published by Fireshine Games and developed by Pugstorm, and it's 33% off. It also features online multiplayer for up to 8 players in co-op, and they just added a huge update. I featured it in my all patched up video, a massive free update. It's like a sandbox survival. If you took Minecraft and Terraria, blended them together, you'd have something like this. It has combat in there as well, farming, base building, all the good stuff. And I guess it has more of a focus on the light and dark mechanics and using lighting, because there are different classes that you can choose from. And one of them will actually like start the game with a lantern, and that's a huge deal. Whereas the other's got a fantastic sword, but you can't see anything. Core Keeper, as I say, 33% off, the cheapest it's ever been. That sale goes on until April the 27th. Now, World War Z is a classic zombie game, but it features first-person team-based mechanics. It reminds me of, what was that one? There was a game on PC and you had 4-player first-person gameplay. I can't remember. It's going to really annoy me, that is, and someone's going to be screaming it at the screen right now. But World War Z's just had a brand new patch, as in like the most recent one came maybe 3 years after it first came out on Switch, and they've added in gyro support and a load of other goodies that just make it more enjoyable to play. This is developed and I think published by Saber Interactive. It does feature online 4-player co-op. It's a 10.5 gig download, so it's pretty chunky, and you don't need to have seen the film or even care about the film to enjoy this game. That's World War Z. There's a full review on the channel, but 75% off, cheapest by far until April the 27th. Unicorn Overlord is brilliant. Many people called this their game of the year when it came out. It was published by Sega and developed by Vanillaware, and I'm pretty sure they poured in so much money that they ran out of cash, and then the producer or something had to like mortgage their house or something crazy, putting in their own money, and it turned out to be just a brilliant game. It's a tactical RPG that has real-time strategy elements, has that stunning 2D art, channeling those Muramasa vibes, but blended with something else that I can't quite put my finger on. You're recruiting units, you have those real-time grid-based battles, or they're not really grid-based, they're like isometric battles, but then you also have that side perspective, more JRPG style turn-based battle system. Then there are the relationships between all the protagonists, there's the gradual building of your army, you get to decide where to go next. You can place your troops within a structure to gradually level up and get more powerful and then come back for them. The game's just fantastic as you gradually try to liberate the kingdom. Really, just one of my favorites. It's 3.3 gigs, which is tiny. How do they fit so much quality into so little gigage? Unicorn Overlord, half price until April the 27th. Now, I think you could call it a bit of a hidden gem. Kill Knight from Playside Studios is half price, that's its cheapest. It's stupidly quick. I think if this had come out before something like Hades and earlier in the Switch's life, it would have a much bigger following. It's kind of that dark neon aesthetic where you control a fallen knight who's battling against demonic hordes. It has this weird thing where the level almost like clicks and shifts and opens up around you as you progress through it, almost in like layers. You've got dual wield weapons, you've got a secondary weapon that's charged with a melee attack. You know that feeling. That kind of like you have to rush in, do a few hits, and melee's super powerful, but it's recharged your secondary, so you can then just dominate. Yeah, great game. That's Kill Knight. 3.2 gigs, cheapest ever, 50% off until April the 27th. And then one of the games that I think is, I don't know, it takes a bit to kind of grow on you. And initially I just wasn't sold, and then I kind of got into it. It's Biomutant, and that's after the 3rd patch. It's another one that I've revisited so many times. It's in a decent state, I think it's fair to say. It's published by THQ and developed by Experiment 101, but it's 40% off. And it's an open world action RPG that has a kung fu twist. You design your own weird mutant rat creature, and you're exploring this vast world with these different factions that are living out their lives. In that regard, it actually reminds me a little bit of the game Pine. I don't know if you remember that one. But you've got different choices to make. You decide who you join. There's also this massive mech that you get your hands on. That's quality. Didn't expect that at all. But once it clicks for you, it really does. And you can spend a number of hours enjoying the world. It's good enough on Switch after all the patches. So if you were avoiding it and waiting for a decent sale, now's a good time. 40% off Biomutant until April the 27th. Go check out our full review if you're interested in more gameplay. Now, there are a couple of Nintendo first-party games. In fact, most of them in their classic 33% discount. I'm not even gonna really, to be honest, I find it a bit boring mentioning them because it just is what it is. They're 33% off. Animal Crossing, go check it out. Skyward Sword, if you're interested. There's a few others as well. What I will mention is the bundle of the week, and that's the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, which includes all 3 of the games, published by Koei Tecmo, developed by Team Ninja, and it's half price until May the 1st. You're getting a trilogy of the best, or some of the best fast-paced action games, certainly that we've seen on Switch, with that fast-paced combat, the acrobatics you'd expect, different weapons, and just a quality set of games. I think Glen did the review for this one, so go check out his full review if you're interested. But if you're after a decent bundle, that's a cracking price on the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. 3.8 gigs until May the 1st. Alright, onto our Savaloy selection, our Fed Cooks, our Costco hot dogs, our very cheap games that are little more than the price that you would usually pay for your guilty pleasure fast food. Of which I have to say, there are getting fewer and fewer options. Like, you go for a Greggs now and it costs you 20 quid. Crazy. City Skylines 90% off, £3.59. That's the lowest it's ever been. Stupid price for a massive strategy experience. Tales of Iron featuring the glorious Doug Cockle, aka the voice of Geralt of Rivia, who does the narration here. That's 82% off, just £3.99. A Barjan, to be sure, just 1.8 gigs. Door Kickers, a bit of a hidden gem action game. Door Kickers Action Squad. That one's quality, 85% off. I really enjoyed this actually. It's just £2.02, 107 megs. Quality loading game, so if you're looking for something to play while you decide if you really do want to invest 400 hours into that RPG, this is a good choice. Vampire Survivors, including the free updates, is now 25% off, down to £2.99. That's some of the best value ever, isn't it? That really is. You can play this game for hundreds of hours. Single player, co-op with up to 4 of you on one Switch. That's some serious value. The download is just 557 megs. And then Rain on Your Parade is 67% off until April the 25th. That's its cheapest ever, down to £3.95. I think I first heard about this one on Switch Corner's channel. He quite enjoyed it, and it is decent, but I would say it's a pickup for that kind of price. It's like a whimsical puzzle game where you control a mischievous cloud. And I do remember this now. I was going to review this one. You're causing all kinds of chaos, but it also has stealth sections in it as well. So that's it. This sale is so big, I've actually got enough games already stored for another video early, maybe, might even be tomorrow to be honest. You can eat your chocolate eggs and fill your backlog with sweet things. Thanks to all of you that enjoyed this, and hopefully to the person that won the Switch OLED. I hope that is just what the doctor ordered for you. It's always nice when it goes to someone who really needs it. Not needs it, but you know, sometimes life gives you lemons and someone else hands you lemonade. Thank you to our Patreons, our members, all of you that enjoy the content. And as always, for all things Switch, all the time. Oh, tickle all the buttons if you want to. The algorithm likes that, apparently. Keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya!